I'm going to start off with a story, and then I'm going to run through a couple of slides. I don't know whether I have the clicker. Here it is. Good. Great stuff. Just to tell you a quick story, I was invited to go to Japan early in the year, and I was invited to train the people in Japan in cell phone evangelism as a means of follow-up after the TMI presentations were done there. And I must say that once I did that presentations, I was not very encouraged. In fact, I felt like I just didn't do my job. I just didn't think it was going to work. The Japanese told me as well that they thought it wasn't going to work. In fact, they told me that everything was wrong. They told me that they don't use WhatsApp, they use Line. They don't really need anything, the Japanese people. They are very rich, so they don't really need God. They don't practice religion like we do. And they also told me that they're very resilient. And they said, so if there's any disaster or something like that, they've got it all pat in 4 days' time, everything sorted out and done. And well, when I got back, exactly that sort of more or less that scenario transpired. There wasn't much happening as far as that is concerned. And then Fukuoka, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Fukuoka came around and the floods. And I did a very quick video on the floods in Japan. I actually took 5 news photos and I flashed them continuously, showing the people the disasters of this flood. And I said, do you like to know why this is happening in Japan? We've got a possible suggestion for you from the Bible. If you really want to hear what it's all about, contact me on WhatsApp. Here's my number, and I'm going to send you Bible studies. I put it up on Facebook adverts. I ran it for 3 days. I targeted Japanese people. 14,000 people entered. 3 days, 14,000 people. Currently, I'm giving Bible studies to 14,000 people per week in Japan. At the moment, I have got 2 of the Japanese people that I've trained up. They've actually translated and recorded the sermons for me in Japanese. I'm sending it to them in Japanese online. So basically, I have a digital church of 14,000 people in Japan. That's digital church in a nutshell. Now let's go through this. It's basically the turning point of a lot of people. Cell phone evangelism. You'll get to know a little bit more about it when Kyle speaks. We deal solely on the voice over internet platforms. Doesn't matter which one it is, whether it's Viber or WeChat or WhatsApp or any one of those. By the way, we're broadcasting via WeChat from Namibia into China, just as a matter of interest. So basically, the communication media, we find a lot of interesting things. These are some quotes from Ellen White, Evangelism. Let every worker in the master's vineyard study, plan, and devise methods. And I have put in the ones in bracket there. It means increase innovation. That's what it means. To reach people where they are, we must do something out of the common course of things. We must arrest attention, i.e., we must move faster. We must be deadly in earnest. It also says, let the workers for God manifest tact and talent and organize devices by which to communicate light to those who are near and to those that are far off, i.e., stay connected. And it also says God will guide his messengers in the adoption of new methods to arrest the attention of men and convince their judgment, get personal. He will give skill and understanding in the use of effective illustrations to arrest the attention of the people. Those are some of the quotes that are very, very interesting quotes. Now I'm going to show you what the people are saying right now in this current sphere that we are living in. By the way, like he said, my name is Neville Neveling. And I'm telling you about digital church, and that's where you'll find me, Neville at awr.org. That's where you will get hold of me. But this is reality 2018. That picture says it all. Everybody's on a telephone. Everybody is communicating on a telephone. And they're really not too concerned about communicating face to face. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. So, there's 4 important criteria we cannot ignore today. And we're going to get back to those quotes. You'll see what I mean. The 4 criteria is we need to increase innovation, or like the quote said, we need to devise methods. We need to move faster, or like the quote said, we need to arrest attention. We need to stay connected, or to communicate with those far and near. And we need to get personal or convince, get them to action, as some of the people have mentioned here. This was said by Clifford DeWitt, Chief Innovations Officer at Microsoft. Mrs. White was a couple of years ahead of him, I guess. Our world looks like this today. If you can see, can you see that there? I celebrate myself. I took that picture in Georgia. That's pretty much how the expression is. I celebrate myself. People are only interested in themselves. Okay. People look like this. This is research. It says they are quite self-sufficient. It says you need to speak the language of those people if you want to be heard. Your language is not sufficient. You need to speak their language if you want to be heard. You will mostly be granted 8 seconds to capture their attention. I think we've mentioned that already in the course of the morning as well. We just haven't said 8 seconds. But you've got 8 seconds. That's what you got. And if you can't capture their attention in 8 seconds, that's it. They desire less face-to-face communication, and they want to communicate using the technology platforms of their choice. So if you want to communicate with somebody, you need to find them where they are. And they are on their cell phones or they're on the social media platforms. That's why Roberto Roberti's thing is working. He's finding them where they are. And we need to do that. We need to be well aware of that. Alain Reis, he's the CEO of RiseCorp.com. He says, digital and social trends changes the way in which we consume content. We've been speaking some things about content, but it changes the way in which we consume it. There's an organization currently, I don't know who of you are aware of it, but it's called Hello Doctor. Anybody here know about Hello Doctor? Well, that's the new medical practice. People don't go to the doctor anymore. They actually call the doctor on the telephone and say, hello doctor, how can you help me? And the doctor listens to them on the telephone, diagnoses on the telephone, prescribes on the telephone, sends them off to the thing. Thanks, Sam. I need a lot of that. All right, so what do we need? On cell phones, that's the way we operate. We need to highlight micro moments. Kyle will be talking about something called high touch, and that's how we do it on a cell phone. Micro moments is high touch. It's personalized content, will be more and more significant in the future. It will maintain loyalty and position the presenter as a trusted source. This is just one of the buses we use for the Centers of Digital Evangelism. So we use this data that I've shown you. We use all of that data together with the fact that we have to compete in this environment to spread the everlasting gospel and come up with a model of evangelism that is driven by these factors. So for many across the world, it has been their turning point. That's one of the digital churches, by the way. Digital church includes Sabbath opening programs. It includes Sabbath school programs. It includes Sabbath closing programs. It includes Sabbath school background study. It includes prayer meetings. It includes study questions of all kinds that people can do. So what are we doing? We're basically taking the person from first contact, we're putting him into a digital church, and we're already indoctrinating, if I may use that word, the person into church culture. If I can say that. we want impact, and we start with broadcast, and we end up with baptism. That's what we do. We create impact. We use the broadcast to take them through to baptism. We get them all over the world on their cell phones. My friend that I spoke to at lunchtime is from Zambia. He will recognize this. This is on the Zambezi River in Zambia. You will recognize it, my friend. And it's in the woods. There's absolutely nothing there. It's a little mud hut like you can see. But you can get Airtel, you can get internet, and it's 4G. You can get people wherever. We've got worldwide reach. So it doesn't matter whether your office is in Washington or your office is in Namibia where I stay. It just doesn't matter. I can reach the people in Japan too. So we're almost done. Cell phone evangelism is what we use. That's how it looks more or less. The voice clips that we send out, that is one sermon broken up into voice clips that we send out to the people. We're reaching the people exactly where they are on their cell phones. Doesn't matter where in the world they are. We're speaking their language. We're talking to them on their preferred technological platform. We're allowing them their platform of choice, like I said. We're staying connected with them. Remember, when we've got them on their cell phone, we already have their name. We already have their telephone number. We already know a lot of detail about them. We're getting personal with them because we allowed onto their address of their cell phone, and if you feature on the address list or the contact list of somebody's cell phone, you've made it. So we're getting personal, and we also respect their time. That is basically the end. So thank you very much.